Welcome to Simply Happy Now, exploring the profound secrets of human happiness through the lens of history, science, and true stories. Most young adults today believe that wealth and fame are the essential goals required to have a truly good and happy life. But what if we could watch entire lives unfold from the teenage years all the way into very old age today? We have access to the Harvard study of adult development, possibly the longest study of adult life that has ever been done. For 75 years, researchers have tracked the lives of 724 men, asking about their work, home lives, and health. The study began in 1938 with two distinct groups. The first group started as sophomores at Harvard College during the war. The second group was a collection of boys from Boston's poorest neighborhoods, chosen specifically because they were from troubled and disadvantaged families. When they entered the study, all of these teenagers were interviewed and given medical exams to establish a baseline for their health. These teenagers grew up into adults who entered all walks of life. They became factory workers, lawyers, bricklayers, and doctors. Some climbed the social ladder from the bottom all the way to the very top, while others journeyed in reverse directions.
To get the clearest picture of these lives, researchers don't just send questionnaires. They interview participants in their living rooms today. They get their medical records from their doctors, draw their blood, scan their brains, and talk to their children and wives. So what have we learned? What are the lessons that come from the tens of thousands of pages of information generated? The clearest message that we get from this 75-year study is this: good relationships keep us happier and healthier. Period. We have learned three big lessons about relationships. The first is that social connections are really good for us, and loneliness kills. People who are more socially connected to family, to friends, and to the community are happier, and they are physically healthier. They also live longer than people who are less well connected. The experience of loneliness turns out to be toxic. People who are more isolated than they want to be find that they are less happy, and their health declines earlier. Their brain functioning declines sooner, and they live shorter lives than the people who are not lonely in their daily lives. And we know that you can be lonely in a crowd, and you can be lonely in a marriage. The second big lesson is that it is not just the number of friends you have, but the quality of close relationships. It matters whether you are in a committed relationship, but what really matters is the quality of your close relationships. Living in the midst of conflict is really bad for our health. High-conflict marriages without affection are very toxic. Such toxic relationships turn out to be very bad for our health, perhaps even worse than getting a divorce would be.
On the other hand, living in the midst of good, warm relationships is protective for our bodies and our minds. Once we had followed our men all the way into their 80s, we wanted to look back at them at midlife. It was not their cholesterol levels that predicted how they would grow old, but how satisfied they were in their relationships. The people who were the most satisfied in their relationships at age 50 were the healthiest at age 80. Good close relationships seem to buffer us from some of the slings and arrows of getting old. Our most happily partnered men and women reported in their 80s that on the days when they had more physical pain, their mood stayed just as happy. But the people in unhappy relationships had their physical pain magnified by emotional pain. The third big lesson we learned about relationships and our health is that good relationships protect our brains. It turns out that being in a securely attached relationship to another person in your 80s is protective. Those in relationships where they feel they can count on the other person in times of need have sharper memories longer. Those in relationships where they feel they really cannot count on the other one experience earlier memory decline. Those good relationships do not have to be smooth all the time. Some of our octogenarian couples could bicker day in and day out, but as long as they felt that they could really count on the other when the going got tough, arguments did not matter.
So this message, that good close relationships are good for our health and well-being, is wisdom that is as old as the hills. Why is this so hard to get and so easy to ignore? Well, we are human. We like a quick fix. Relationships are messy, and they are complicated, and the hard work of tending to family and friends is not sexy or glamorous. It is also lifelong. It never ends. The people in our 75-year study who were the happiest in retirement were active. They were the ones who had actively worked to replace workmates with new playmates, just like the millennials in that recent survey. Many of our men, when they were starting out as young adults, really believed that fame and wealth and high achievement were needed. But over and over these 75 years, our study has shown that the people who fared the best were connected. So what about you? It might be something as simple as replacing screen time with people time starting today. Liven up a stale relationship by doing something new together, long walks or date nights, or reaching out to that family member. Reach out to that family member who you have not spoken to in years, because those all too common family feuds take a terrible toll.
I would like to close with a quote from Mark Twain. More than a century ago, he was looking back on his life. He wrote this: "There is no time, so brief is life, for bickerings, apologies, heartburnings, callings to account. There is only time for loving, and but an instant, so to speak, for that." The good life is built with good relationships. This research reminds us that while we cannot choose our childhood, we can choose how we invest in our connections today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is created when you decide to connect with someone you care about. The good life is not a destination you arrive at. It is a path you walk, hand in hand with others. Thank you for watching Simply Happy Now. If this video inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more life-changing wisdom. Remember, your happiness is in your hands and in your heart. Go out and build a good life starting right now.
Simply happy now. Simply here, simply now. No rush, no chase, no why, no how. Just breathe it in. Simply happy now. Simply happy now. Stay gentle, stay kind. This moment is enough. Simply happy.